How to build a successful real estate team. By the end of this video, guys, you are gonna know that A players, not only are they crucial, but I'm gonna show you step by step how you can get A players to be on your team. Guys, we always hear about A players and how they're crucial and how they play a big role in your team. And stick with me to the end because I'm gonna share with you the biggest secret that I wish I knew years ago about not only how to find those A players, but how to keep them. When asking individuals why they get into real estate, the two biggest reasons that are always the same, no matter what Facebook group you're in, no matter what YouTube channel you're in, you'll see these same two responses. And that is to make more money and ultimately to have more freedom. That could be financial freedom. That could be time freedom where they're able to go on more vacations or live life on their terms with whoever they want, whenever they want. Those are the two biggest reasons people get into real estate. Now, with wholesaling ends up being something that I call it like my cash cow, my printer, right? Something that you can very quickly make money. And if you're a subscriber to my channel, you'll know that I talk a lot about wholesaling. So be sure to watch these other videos that I have that teach you in depth. But this video is going to talk about how to keep those A players. But guys, most people, as long as you learn to make more money. But what they fail to do is that second one, is obtain that time freedom, that financial freedom, that freedom to go live life on their terms. Really what happens for majority is they get burnt out and they end up questioning, should they keep doing this? Because instead of just working a 9-to-5, working for an employer, now what they're doing is they're self-employed, but they don't have a team built around them. They don't have systems or process built around them. They're wearing all the hats, and instead of working 40-hour weeks, now they're working 60 and 70-hour weeks. Yes, they're making more money, but they're actually losing time. They're not able to go on vacation, even though this is the best time they've been able to afford it, but they can't break away because they don't have a team to help out. This is what I want to help you guys overcome. Get those teams in place, because without a team, your wholesaling business not only will suffer, but it could get you back to that comfortable 9-to-5 job and quit your wholesaling business. All right, let's just talk about it. Like, let's address the elephant in the room. The biggest fear around hiring, number one fear is they're afraid to bring on someone now for two reasons. A, they don't know if they can afford it, meaning, oh man, this is gonna be a $50,000 salary. I don't have $50,000 in the bank. That's one. Number two is that's one more family they have to support. And oh man, but what if my business goes belly up and I have to let this person go and now I've just let them down, I've put them in a worse position. So guys, we need to address these fears. And how do you do it? When it comes to the hiring part and you're thinking about how much money you need, don't think in 12-month segments. Think in 3-month segments. So if they make, let's say 120 grand a year, I'm just doing this for simple math. Don't use those numbers because that would be a high number, but I'm just doing it for simple math, right? Is you have 120 grand a year, that means it's 10 grand a month, right? Instead of thinking 120 grand, think it in a 3-month segment. Everyone that's on your team should know that this is something that you've got to be profitable. You've got to be bringing profit to the business, and you have 3 months to figure this out. This is not something that we can take all year to find out if it's going to work. And as long as you have those conversations at the beginning, you're going to find out that majority of your problems are going to be satisfied. You're having those crucial conversations up front so that if they feel like, oh man, I'm leaving this job to come over here to figure out if I can make this work, and if it doesn't work in 3 months, I'm going to get fired. I would rather have that conversation than not letting them know, and then in 3 months saying, sorry, it didn't work out. And now you are hurting someone and their family and what money they're taking home. Have that set up at the beginning, that crucial conversation, and only plan for 3 months of expenses, because if they're not profitable by 3 months, they're not a fit for the team. Hey guys, before I share this strategy, this secret that allowed me to attract A players to my team and keep them, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. Also hit the bell so it alerts you when we put up fresh new content. Now, getting back to that, surrounding yourself with A players. You want a team that's smarter than you. And so many times we think about, oh man, I can't hire people that are smarter than me, or oh man, I can't hire people because all I'm gonna do is just teach them how to do it and then they're gonna run off on their own, they're gonna go do this on their own. Guys, there's so many people, you gotta kill that mentality, that mindset that everyone just wants to learn from you and then they're just gonna leave and they're just gonna rip it off from you and just go do it on their own. That's not true. We have incredible A players on our team, players that are making 150,000 and above, and that could make more money if they would just go simply do this on their own. And as we sit down with these individuals and we're talking with them, a lot of the times they bring up to us that they don't want to own a business. They just want to work for individuals that know where they're going, that have a vision, but they don't want to own the ship. They don't want to be the captain. They just want to be the second mate. They just want to be the person that's on the boat, going in the right direction, that's going to have a ton of success. So kill that mindset. If you're thinking they're here to learn so they can rip you off and go out and do it on their own, they're not. And the ones that are, you're probably going to sense that. But we've had team members with us now for the last 4 years that have been with us religiously, and I don't see an end to their employment with us, and they don't see the end. They love working for us. So how do we attract these A players? This is where most people won't share, but this is the biggest secret that I learned, and I wish I would have learned this from the beginning, because there were so many times that I did hire individuals and they were the wrong fit, and I'd have to go to them and let them go. I did have people that were the wrong fit that I didn't understand that did come and did do like shady work for us, and they were doing deals behind our backs and things like that. We've had that happen. And those things still could happen to you guys. This is not to bulletproof you guys that you're gonna go through this perfectly after watching this video. You're still gonna have to experience it. There's still gonna be a learning curve. There's still gonna be things that you learn through your trial and error. And some of the biggest things that I wish I would have known from day one is I would go out and I'd find these A players and I would convince them why they want to come work for the team, why they want to come work for this business. And after 1 week, 2 weeks, after 2 months, after 6 months, they would sit there and like, man, these guys don't have a system that helps me succeed. They don't have any processes written down. They really don't even have a goal of where they want to accomplish, how much money. We were kind of those young entrepreneurs. We were hungry, but we didn't have clarity of vision. We didn't know that we wanted to do X amount of dollars in gross revenue. We were just like, hey, whatever we can get, let's go get our hands on, let's go get it. And A players, although we found them, what they did is they would turn around and see that we were B and C leaders. We were not A leaders. A players are looking for A leaders. Those that have a clarity of vision, those that have processes that set them up for win, systems that set them up for win. And this comes from a story now that I want to share from you from The Compound Effect. If you haven't read this book, it's one that I would go purchase. It's a quick read. The individual's name is Darren Hardy. And he talked about how he was much like my young entrepreneurial mindset, where it's like, go find the A players. He wrote a 40-page document on who he wants the wife to look like, what it's gonna be like, what her hobbies are gonna be, and the different like features of this wife. 40 pages, so detailed of what he wanted in a wife. And then he goes to a seminar. It happens to be one of his mentors, Jim Rohn. And he talks about you can have everything in life if you become the person worthy of what it is you're trying to get. And all of a sudden he had this like paradigm shift. He was like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this wrong. And he wrote a 40-page document now on what type of man is a woman of this caliber looking for. And he wrote a 40-page document of who this man would have to be. And Darren Hardy from that day forward worked over the next 2 to 3 years on who that person is. 40-page document, started doing this, started working to become that individual. And once he became that individual, within a couple years, he found his dream wife. And he says it's so scary how close this wife matches that original 40-page document that he wrote about his wife. Now why? Because he took the time to become the man first that this woman is looking for. Once he became that individual, he attracted the wife that was looking for that type of man. Now, how do we tie this to our business? Become the A leader. Work on yourself. If your team is the word like everyone throws around sucks, be willing to look in the mirror and say, you suck. It's us. It's us that has to get better. If we want A players and A players to stay, we need to become A leaders. A players are looking for A leaders, and they will not stick around unless you continue to work on yourself. So make this a commitment going forward that you're gonna commit to you. Who do you need to become so that you can simply attract? You'll never have to use Indeed or any of these other services out there of people to submit their resumes to. You're gonna simply attract individuals that are A players, the top 3%, because they wanna work on your team. They see something incredible about your leadership. They see an A leader that's going places and they wanna be part of that ship. Work on you, and you'll solve all your problems. Now, I can only tell you so much about A players and how to bring those players on your team, but I'd love to show you personally firsthand in my office, and I've included a link down below in the description on how you can be one of 10 people that come out to my office for 3 days, and we go over a training that I call Scale, where we really break down the systems, the processes that allow your A players to win at a high level, and ultimately, more importantly, how to keep attracting these A players, because if you have A players on your team, you are indeed gonna make more money, but more importantly, obtain that second part, and that is time freedom and financial freedom.